I was at the Gartner Symposium IT Expo last week in Orlando, and there were almost 10,000 other CIOs and IT leaders at the conference. It was a very exciting week. We got to talk a lot about future of technology, being a Gartner conference, of course, and the advancement in healthcare, machine learning, augmented intelligence, and cybersecurity and privacy. Just very simple ideas, I know. But perhaps more importantly, in each session and nearly every individual conversation I had, there was a running, consistent theme: digital transformation. Well, now you're going to say, oh, this is going to be another talk of another buzzword, digital transformation. Well, I promise you that is not. It didn't matter the size, scope, or industry of their organization. Nearly every person I had talked to was either already embarking on or planning for the journey of digital transformation. Even departments in the public sector who had been especially inundated with legacy systems and processes. So what exactly is digital transformation? At its core, digital transformation is a mindset. It's about transforming process and culture. That transformation is, of course, fueled by the adoption of cloud, DevOps, and automation. It is the next level shift from centralized systems, waterfall development, functional teams, to distributed computing, agility, and shared responsibilities. Why? Why do organizations do that? Why do established, profitable organizations invest millions of dollars and thousands of hours into a painful change that seemingly leaves them exactly where they were when they set out? The reason behind the why that drives this decision to tackle such a large, complex change should be substantial. It should be impactful. And it is because of where it allows them to go with the most important measurable: the customer experience, both internal and external customers. For external customers to experiment better products faster and give internal customers, employees, and developers the freedom to work anywhere on any device, to choose the best tools, empowering them to experiment, fail fast, and innovate. That is why digital transformation matters. So what does that mean for the cybersecurity and compliance industry? Where are we in the journey of transformation? Security was built on this concept of walls, layers of defense, stringent processes, separation of duties, and the confinement of systems and restrictions to users. It is absolutely the anti-customer experience. So this whole thing reminds me of my first-hand experience at Fidelity Investment. I was the head of software security at Personal Investing, an organization within Fidelity that had gone through a massive transformation of our own to become a digital technology company first and a financial services firm second. And that's because at Fidelity Personal Investing, we were obsessed with better customer experiences, and we had to compete with the fintech disruptions. As part of that transformation, we started distributing the responsibilities of security. We moved many tasks of security from a wholly centralized enterprise functional team more to the technology organization within the business unit itself, and then to each individual Scrum teams. We started digitalizing security control points that were traditionally enforced by people and process into automation via code. So I don't need to tell you all of the recent stories about security and breach. You can just turn on the news and see that security so far hasn't worked, is not working. Things are just getting worse. So it is clear that we need a transformation of our own. Security compliance needs its own transformation. So how do we do that? Well, three things. We must keep it simple, keep it open, and keep it going. So in security operations, a lot of us has this tendency to throw people at a problem, to throw tools at a problem. When there's a new malware variation, there's a new patch, there's a new update of the malware signature, and it's always in this reactive mode. And when there's a new attack that happens, there's going to be a new vendor, there's going to be a new tool, and you have to kind of add another solution to the 20 that you already have. Well, I'm going to tell you, you don't need a large number of commercial tools or solutions, or an army of consultants, or an encyclopedia worth of manual processes to create a complete and sound security and compliance program. Well, here's what you do. First, assess what you do have. Start there and focus there. If you're in the cloud, if you're already using AWS, G Suite, Google Cloud, or Azure, you likely already have a good set of cloud-native security controls at your disposal. Things like single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, and other capabilities like config or guard duty services in AWS. And cloud providers also give you web application firewall protection, DDoS protection, and other services like that. And of course, the correct usage and configurations of basic things like your VPCs, virtual private clouds, and subnets, and security group rules or IAM policies, those will get you a long way. And after that, look for gaps. That's the next step. And there are plenty of good open source software that you can adopt and integrate to help you close those gaps. For example, you can use npm audit to scan the open source dependencies in your JavaScript code and identify security vulnerabilities, or OSSec for host-based intrusion detection, or OS Query to easily instrument your user endpoints for visibility and configuration compliance. Remember, the goal is to make your security controls work more efficiently and effectively together, not to buy the best out-of-the-box security product. Every time you add a tool, you introduce new complexity and more cost, both in terms of resources and time, which then increases the likelihood of new gaps and risks in your overall security posture. Complexity makes it easy for attackers to hide their tracks. Simplicity makes it easy for you to spot them. You want to embrace an organization culture of transparency, where security policies and operations are discussed and enforced openly, rather than behind closed doors among just the security team. You want your entire technical and engineering team to have direct visibility to security alerts, events, vulnerabilities, so that they can more effectively help you remediate. Otherwise, security teams are just in the way of security. You want to engage your users, not distance them. You want to empower your users to help you in the effort to maintain security, not turn them against you. Your security policies should be easy to understand for anyone in the organization and the procedures simple to follow. Find ways to say yes to user requests of access to technology and applications. This keeps the requests front and center and the organizations innovating. Saying no too often would lead your users to be actively avoiding you in the process, or find ways to bypass the controls that you thought were protecting them. Well, embracing openness also means that you should get external, crowdsourced help, like having a responsible disclosure or bug bounty program, so that users and white hat hackers can proactively and responsibly tell you, inform you of any security findings that they found before they become a breach. This is almost more valuable than the typical once-a-year external penetration testing. But also keep this in mind, being secure at one point in time only matters for that point in time. It means nothing for your organization's future. However, this is in most cases how assessments are done today as part of security operations and compliance. While the goal instead should be a reliable, scalable, ongoing security operation. To do that, you must rely on automation because you cannot do that by hand, by people. There's too much happening, you're never going to be able to keep up. So you have to have automation to build security into your business process, into your product development lifecycle, to your DevOps pipeline, and to continuously monitor and instrument your environments and controls. In a digital organization, since we're talking about digital transformation, changes are quick and constant. If your security operations cannot keep up, it goes from being the gatekeepers to bottlenecks and quickly gets left behind, pushed aside, or simply forgotten. Well, additionally, last but not least, security operations, very much like agile development, needs to iterate and continuously improve. You're not going to get it right the first time. But the key is to start early, get something in place, and iterate and improve upon that. The three things: simple, open, and continuous. Now, that's how digital security is supposed to be. Now, I want to share with you a little bit more about my own story, my journey at Lifomic. And this is how I have built the security and compliance program at Lifomic. Lifomic is a cloud-native technology company that is born digital. We take a data-centric approach to managing risk and information security. For example, we leverage technologies like multi-factor authentication and the assume role capability in AWS to create a virtually air-gapped environment to establish on-demand temporary access only when it's needed, only to the person that needs it. We develop a lot of automation to create an immutable build and deployment pipeline to automate change management, change approvals, so that if you have done everything right, then there's no human intervention involved in pushing into production. And at the same time, this also maintains end-to-end traceability. And we also rely on the ephemeral nature of the cloud resources to constantly keep our environments up to date. Instead of patching, the nature of the cloud can help maintain the resources to be up to date all the time. And while dramatically reducing the possibility of persistent attacks and limiting the blast radius. We're pretty open about how we do things. You can check out the details of our security operations, our top 10 principles, and even the architecture and the procedures on our website. We publish all of these openly because we believe that if the hackers can attack us and compromise our system just because they saw the procedures and policies, then there's something wrong with those processes and procedures and controls themselves. Well, this process that we've implemented was eye-opening. I believe the whole industry needs to wise up to this idea that it isn't about the tools or the rules or the frameworks. It's the mindset that matters. The mindset is what can drag an organization to a halt when they could be accelerating. So now this became our own modern cybersecurity manifesto. Assume compromise, but expose no single point of compromise. Track everything because you cannot protect what you can see. Engage everyone, for there is power in the crowd. Two is stronger than one. Automation is key because people don't scale and changes are constant. We have to build products that are secure by default and secure by design. We have to favor transparency over obscurity, practicality over processes, and usability over complexity. We did not stop there. We want other technology organizations and digital teams to experience security and compliance the way that we have been. Earlier this year, we released a SaaS software as a service product aimed at simplifying digital security by providing continuous instrumentation and monitoring of cloud environments and controls, as well as automated reporting and compliance report generation and evidence collection. We use this product, Jupyter One, as a single source of truth, a place where data is continuously ingested, analyzed, and consolidated for anyone on our team, not just the security teams, but anyone on our team, to ask simple questions and get the right answers back about our digital environments, resources, and controls. So again, simple, open, continuous. That's how digital security is supposed to be. Thank you.